Good afternoon, staff. Just wanted to take an opportunity to share some updates and information with you as we move throughout the remainder of the school year. This information should be very beneficial to you and how you plan or how we plan next steps. First, vertical PLTs. I sent an email yesterday talking about a vertical PLT for April 19th, which is the Wednesday after we get back from spring break. The purpose of that PLT will be to begin planning those common instructional practices that we will have as a school moving into the 17-18 school year. We had one vertical PLT already talking about those strategies that we use currently and stated that we would come back. And this will not be the only vertical PLT. There will be another before the end of the school year to talk about those ELA and math instructional strategies that you use that is evidence-based and you have found to be successful in your classroom, whether it is the WRAP strategy, the runner strategy, the cube strategy, whatever strategies you are using in your classroom that you have found to be successful, then you need to bring that information to our April 19th meeting, as there will be a K2 section in the media center, and there will be a 3-5 section, and we will begin talking about those strategies that we're going to implement for the 17-18 school year. So it's going to be very important that you bring that information with you. We won't use that PLT to think about those strategies. You have to bring them with you, and we will begin to narrow down what practices we're going to see or adopt as school-wide practices. And these are things that we're going to expect to see when we do walkthroughs, when we do evaluations. They will be common practices so that when students when students have moved from first grade to second grade, they're familiar with the strategy. You can kind of pick up where you left off. Teachers aren't reteaching a different strategy. And so there is going to be there's great benefit behind adopting these school-wide strategies, and that is the direction that we're attempting to move in. So again, bring those strategies with you. Talk about it as a grade level, and we're going to on April 19th in the media center. We are going to that vertical PLT will be geared towards beginning to narrow down a toolbox of instructional practices that we will use or adopt at Apex Elementary. Okay. Any more questions about that? You just see me individually, shoot me an email, whatever the case may be. So the possible bail schedule change, we're still, kind of in limbo on April 4th. The board will go back into a session and talk about what that's going to look like for us next year. That move from an 8:30 start time to a 9:15 start time. Once that decision has been made, we will, as a staff, talk about the changes that will mean for us as far as, moving our meeting times to the morning instead of the afternoon. Our PLTs, our, committee meetings, SIP, leadership, staff meetings, things like that, we will move to before school. I've already spoken with the YMCA, who will have before school care for us starting at 7 o'clock. So, and I know that's would be a hardship for some of our families to have before school care and after school care as an expense. But it's kind of where we are right now. We can continue to brainstorm on some things that may kind of help alleviate some of that stress for our families. But the YMCA has agreed to have a before school care program. Again, April 4th, we will know maybe a little bit more, we hope. But as of now, the bell schedule change is still on the table in discussion. 17-18 positions. Obviously, many of you know that Miss Gaskins, Miss Gaffney, and Miss Bradham are retiring at the end of the school year. The positions for all three positions actually have been posted. and will remain posted for a while as we start interviewing candidates for those positions. The data manager position, most of you may already know this, we're going to move Miss Oliver into that position. She will be moving into the data manager position, and we will be looking for a receptionist. So, we just had to post the data manager position to be able to move her over into that. But the actual position that will be available is the receptionist position. Okay. Intervention. And this is just, a bit of information that we got from the principals meeting the other day. Intervention months are allotted based on, I don't know what the formula was before, but what we're moving to is the county will look at the kindergarten through 5th grade M-class data and EOGs, 3, 4, and 5 EOGs, to determine the number of intervention months that a school will get. I don't know if it's going to be their, DIBELS, TRC, I don't know what part of M-class they're going to look at, but the number of months for intervention will be determined by our M-class data and our EOG data. And so those number of months fluctuate from year to year anyway, but this is, how we're going to determine, or how it will be determined, that the number of intervention months will be allotted to a school. The thing about that intervention position is they will also be expected to be in charge of the intervention team, that tier 3 team. And so they will be the keeper of all the data and kind of, the intervention matrix and so forth, in order to make sure that we are touching the right students, or seeing the right students, as many students as we can. But intervention has changed a little bit, and the allotment or the monthly allotments will be based on the M-class data and the EOG data. In addition, we have not received our allotments for 2017-18 as of yet. We should receive those next Thursday, the 23rd, which will give us a projection of how many months of employment we will have, how many teaching positions, academics, special ed positions. All that information will be on our allotment page by next Thursday, and kind of give us a clearer picture as to what we can expect as far as positions for the 17-18 school year. And finally, I want to talk to you a little bit about HB 13, House Bill 13, where it's already been passed the General Assembly, but talks about class size in kindergarten to 3rd grade. The maximum class size, the proposed maximum class size for kindergarten is 18 students, 16 in 1st grade, and 17 in 2nd and 3rd grade. Now, the thing about those is a classroom can have up to 3 additional students, three students above the maximum class size. So that would be 21 in kindergarten, 19 in 1st grade, and 20 in 1st and 2nd. So you can have up to 3 students above that maximum number. But after day 20, after school day 20, an additional 3 students can be added as the max number, which will get us closer, to the 24 allotment that we have. But again, the additional 3 students per classroom can be added after day 20, whereas the initial 3 students, the 18 kindergarten students plus the additional 3, that can occur within that, from the beginning of school to that, that 10-day time frame. So it is going to create a lot of problems in all elementary schools, not just ours, in regards to it'll add more teachers, it'll require more space, and there's some uncertainty as to how it will affect our specialists. And the specialists are aware. We had a conversation today, so they're certainly aware of the ramifications of this bill being passed, And so Wake County is at a standstill because you're talking about displacement of over 400 teachers, of specialists. And so, they're kind of hanging on and waiting until the very last minute, in hopes that, this bill, will be changed, which is why we don't have our allotments yet. Normally we have those allotments by now, but they're just kind of holding off, in hopes that there will be a change. But currently, as of yesterday at the principals meeting, weren't many answers, other than the fact that the class sizes will be 18, 16, and 17. Unfortunately, grades 4 through 12, there's no limit. And allotments aren't necessarily based on the number of kids in each one of those grades. We'll certainly do what we can in regards to if we have positions to make sure that we, have them spread out so that we, alleviate having 35 kids in a classroom. But again, all of that is determined by the number of teaching allotments that we're provided. So, it'll be it'll be a difficult time if this bill is passed, and in regards to space and specialists and just the ripple effect that this bill will have. But it's just kind of where we are right now. If you have any questions, any concerns, I probably won't have many answers, but you certainly can ask, and I will do the best that I can to get that information for you. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you back on Monday.